Hi, I'm Rahel Philipose and you are listening to Three Things, the Indian Express news show. In this episode, we talk about the Nagaland Assembly elections and how the BJP is trying hard to stay in power in the state. We also give you an update on the sexual harassment case against the chief of the Wrestling Federation of India, or WFI. But first, we talk about the meteoric rise of Amritpal Singh, the chief of a Punjab-based outfit called Waris Punjab. Now, this outfit was founded by the late actor and activist Deep Sidhu back in 2021 ahead of the Punjab Assembly elections. But after Sidhu died in a car crash last year, the 29-year-old Amritpal Singh took charge of it. And one important thing to note about Singh is that he's hugely influenced by the late Sikh militant leader Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale. Now, the reason he's in the news is because last week, hundreds of his followers stormed the Ajnala police station near Amritsar, demanding the release of his associate Lovepreet Singh Tufan, who was arrested on multiple charges, including kidnapping. But later, what became hugely controversial was Amritpal using the Sikh holy book, the Guru Granth Sahib, as a shield during the siege. In the end, the police agreed to release Tufan, and he walked out of prison on Friday. But the AAP-led state government, as a result, has been accused of buckling under the pressure of this outfit. In this segment, the Indian Express's resident editor from the Chandigarh newsroom, Manraj Grewal Sharma, joins us to talk about Amritpal Singh, the Waris Punjab, and what led to the recent incident in Ajnala. So Manraj, let's talk about the man at the center of all of this, Amritpal Singh. Walk me through how he ended up as the head of the Waris Punjab.
So Amritpal Singh was working in Dubai. He comes from a village near Raya, which is very close to Amritsar. So from there in 2002, I believe he left for Dubai, where his family runs a trucking business, a transport business. It's a thriving transport business, and he was part of it. And he came to Punjab, as in people in Punjab started noticing him during the farm agitation because he was very active on the social media. And I believe he really supported Deep Sidhu. Though he's never met Deep Sidhu's family says they have never met him. But after Deep Sidhu's death in an accident, this guy came back, and last September, he anointed himself as he, along with his people close to Deep Sidhu, because, here's this small community on the social media. So they all got together and he anointed himself as the successor of Deep Sidhu for an organization called Waris Punjab. Waris means heirs. So heirs of Punjab, the future of Punjab, the future generation of Punjab.
And for the benefit of our listeners who aren't familiar with the Waris Punjab, this outfit was founded by Deep Sidhu right before the 2021 Punjab Assembly elections. It was meant to be a pressure group to protect and fight for the rights of Punjab and to raise certain social issues. So Manraj, how did the group change under the leadership of Amritpal Singh?
See, Waris Punjab, they did not get much traction at all. It was an informal pressure group. They had a 16-member committee and so on. So, but the structure wasn't so solid, but it was only after Amritpal took over and sort of ignited this controversy that people started sitting up to take notice. Also, he started something which Deep Sidhu hadn't. He started this baptism program called Amrit Sanchar program. And he said that, Punjab youngsters are going astray. They are taking to drugs in a large way. So they should get back to the Panth, as in the religion. So this is where the shift happened, the shift to a very pure form of religion.
Right. And the controversy you mentioned, the scenes we saw playing out outside the Ajnala police station, these were nothing short of unprecedented, right? Hundreds of people, supporters of Amritpal Singh, gathered with swords and knives demanding that the police release Lovepreet Singh Tufan. What led up to this incident?
So there was a person called Varinder Singh. He, I believe, was a member of Punjab Waris, but he had a fallout with them. right? He was also a preacher. So after that, he started saying that there are people with Amritpal who don't have an upright moral character, and that there are a lot of things going on there which should not be, and I don't like their rhetoric, etc. And so he made a video. It's so commonplace these days, you have people on the video, whatever. So he did that, criticizing this outfit as well as Amritpal Singh. So these people were very furious, and he was visiting some dera when he was assaulted. He was even hospitalized. So after that, he complained to the police that these people have assaulted me. It's the members of this outfit who've done it, and they kidnapped me. That's what he said. So a case was registered against 5 people by name, including that of Amritpal Singh and this Lovepreet Singh Tufan. 2-3 days before this incident, he claims, and so do his followers, that he told the police that I will march to your station and free him because he's innocent. So you discharge him. And that is what he claimed, that we had already forewarned the police that we will be taking out a protest procession to the police station. So on Thursday, these people stormed into the Ajnala police station where this guy was being kept. And there were sword-waving youngsters, and about 6-7 policemen were hurt grievously. And then the police capitulated and agreed to discharge Tufan. And they made a statement, this gentleman, then the media was all there, the national media was there, the television channels were there. And he told them that, look, I told them that I will do this. And they kind of made light of me. They thought I had lost my following and I was isolated. Look at the numbers I have now. Posing a challenge to the police. And see, the police has agreed to my demands because they are just and all of that. So that is being seen as an attack on the state itself. Because a police station is a tool of the state government. It is the way you establish law and order. You implement the state's will through the police station, the law and order situation. And he kind of took on the might of the state by just riding roughshod over it. That was very alarming.
And the police also had to use caution because Amritpal turned up at the police station with the Guru Granth Sahib, right? And he used it as a shield. And later, of course, they also released Tufan. So could you talk about how the state government reacted to this entire incident?
See, the chief minister, without naming Amritpal Singh, has tweeted that anybody who takes refuge, who takes cover behind the holy Guru Granth Sahib is a coward. He cannot call himself a Waris. Waris as in, the future of Punjab, certainly. And clergy also, a lot of people who do command sizable following have come out very harshly against this. The state government, of course, is saying that they exercised utmost caution because they did not want anything untoward to happen to Sri Guru Granth Sahib, because had that happened, the situation would have taken an entirely different turn. And the ministers, etc., they said, it's very deliberate, it's someone's mischief. And so they pointed a finger at this conspiracy theory that he suddenly come up out of nowhere. Because it is a very sharp and meteoric rise, and it's not as if the whole Punjab is his follower.
Right, and Amritpal is now widely being called Bhindranwale 2.0. In fact, he himself has been very open about the fact that he's greatly inspired by Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale, who of course was killed during the Indian Army-led Operation Blue Star at the Golden Temple complex in 1984. So, Manraj, why is this comparison being made between these two men?
Yeah, so there is a lot of Sikhs respect. They have tremendous respect for anyone who gives up his life, who makes that what they call the supreme sacrifice in the army terms. So Bhindranwale, army asked him to surrender, and he and his band of followers, there was some of them, a lot of them who came out, who gave up. So he did not. And he died during the operation. He was killed during the operation. So that makes him a martyr. And which is why a martyr is a hero. So in the popular psyche, which people do not understand because they think, anybody who supports Bhindranwale must be having very separatist tendencies. So it's not that. It's the fact that, this guy chose to die for whatever his beliefs were. He was true to his beliefs. So this guy, by fashioning himself on Bhindranwale, is trying to lay claim to all of that. And he also always makes sure that his poster also carries a picture of Bhindranwale. So that is called image building.
Right, but Manraj, I'm trying to understand what the end goal is, both for Amritpal as well as the Waris Punjab Day. Is he trying to reignite the Khalistan debate?
So, if the idea is to disrupt, to be a disruptor, that he's doing very successfully. Because all of a sudden, now Khalistan is becoming part of this discourse. We are talking about it. So it's an idea long dead. And if you ask people, would they like a separate country? The answer is a downright no. And people who have lived through it know the horrors of it. Whether be it Sikhs or Hindus are saying, sorry, we don't want that. We do not want a repeat of those dark days when we couldn't get out of our house, when the whole state had become a police chavni. Because, it was a governor's rule, it was a police rule. But I have a feeling what is happening is that the band of people, it's been so long. You see, it's been almost 40 years. So memory tends to be very short. So while middle-aged people may tend to remember it, these youngsters, 20-somethings, they have no memory of those dark days. All they have heard is the stories of, there were extrajudicial killings, etc. of that. And this is what these people are focusing on. They are not looking at the total picture and the toll this militancy took on the state and how it came to nothing. And in this case, this gentleman knows how to milk the social media. He's a product of the social media. And when you come across people who have joined hands with him, all of them without fail will tell you that we connected on the internet. We connected on Facebook Live, on Instagram. So that is where he's drawing his following from. And those guys haven't seen the dark decades. So they are unable to, put everything into perspective. They are unable to realize that violence has not given them anything. And Khalistan is an outdated concept.
Next, we talk about the Nagaland Assembly elections. This northeastern state, which goes to polls today, currently has no opposition in the assembly. It's in an opposition-less coalition government made up of the local NDPP and the BJP, which have come together to form an alliance in this election as well. However, there are many other smaller regional parties in the state which could end up playing an important role in deciding who wins this election. Perhaps this is why the BJP has been working hard to ensure that they come back to power. During the campaign, senior leaders like JP Nadda and Amit Shah visited the state, where they focused on issues like AFSPA and the Naga political conflict.
Northeast means Bandh, blockage, insurgency, targeted attacks, abduction, insurgency. That was the situation which we faced some 5 years back. But today we can say that Nagaland is again back to the path of normalcy, peace, prosperity and development.
To understand the BJP's campaign and the position of the different parties in the state, my colleague Utsa Sarmin speaks to Sukrita Baruah, who is covering the state polls for the Indian Express.
So Sukrita, could you begin by talking about how the state has generally voted in the past?
So, in the last election, actually, the party which won the highest number of seats was the Naga People's Front. They had won 27 seats. But they couldn't form the government. The government was instead formed by a new alliance between the Nephew Rio-led NDPP and the BJP. And for the last 15 years, we've actually seen Rio and the BJP in alliance come to power. Earlier, when Rio was a part of NPF, it was a tie-up between the NPF and the BJP. And when he broke rank with the NPF and joined the NDPP, which was formed by his supporters ahead of the 2018 elections, the BJP followed him there. So that's the pattern that's been in place for the last 3 elections. Though the NPF was the single largest party last time, their condition has depleted rapidly in the last 5 years. From being the primary opposition party, they later went on to become a part of an opposition-less government, which came into being in 2021 in Nagaland. So all the other parties in the assembly joined hands with the NDPP-BJP alliance. Now the NPF is in a really depleted condition, and the NDPP and BJP alliance is going really strong.
So to clarify, when you say that it is an opposition-less government, it means there is no opposition in the state as of now.
There is no opposition in the state as of now in assembly. In the elections, of course, there are parties which are contesting against the NDPP-BJP alliance.
Right, and could you talk about these parties which are contesting against the incumbent government?
So very interestingly, even though the Nagaland assembly is a really small assembly, there are only 60 seats. This time there's a huge number of parties which are contesting. There are 13 parties, which not only include national parties like the BJP and Congress and NCP and major regional players like the NPF and the NDPP. We also have a lot of these parties, which are much smaller in the larger scheme of Nagaland and which are actually parties which are not rooted in the state, such as the JDU, the RJD, the Lok Janshakti Party, Ram Vilas section, the Ramdas Athawale's RPI. And interestingly, apart from the NDPP-BJP alliance, which is collectively contesting in all 60 seats, no party is contesting in 30 seats, which is what is required to meet the halfway mark, right? Most are contesting in less than 20 seats. So nobody's really gunning for the prime position in the government. What most of these parties are claiming is that they will end up playing the role of kingmaker. Apart from the Congress, which will never side with the BJP, and the RJD, which has emphasized that it will not join a government that the BJP is a part of, and a new Nagaland party called the Rising People's Party, which has said that it will not get into an alliance with any other party. Barring these three, all the other players have expressed their willingness to join any kind of post-poll alliance. So everyone's keeping all their options open. So whether this could mean walking towards another oppositionless assembly or whether this has the potential to shake things up when it comes to the post-poll stage is something that's left to be seen. But this does make the variety of parties in the fray and how open they are to post-poll alliances has possibilities.
So Congress is one of the contenders which will of course not form an alliance with the BJP. But can you talk about how strong their presence is in Nagaland currently?
So the Congress has also been trying to put up a tough fight in the state. But the fact is that the party is in a very difficult position. It was last in power in the state in 1998. In 2003, which is the first time that Rio became chief minister, the Congress did have the highest number of seats in the assembly, but they were edged out. And since then, it's been in decline in the state. In the last elections, they drew a blank. So they're going to this election with 0 MLAs. So they are in a difficult position. And like I said, unlike the other parties, they're also, not going to be willing to come on board with a government which has the BJP as a part of it. So though there's a fight, they are in a very difficult position in the state.
And Sukrita, speaking of the BJP, it has been a long-term partner of Nagaland Chief Minister nephew Rio, like we discussed. And we see that happening this time as well. But the BJP has also seen a lot of growth in the state. Could that impact the NDPP-BJP alliance?
So throughout the course of campaigning for this elections in the last couple of weeks, which is when election activity really picked up, the NDPP and the BJP have been very emphatic about the strength of their alliance. Last year itself, they had announced that they'd be in a 40-20 seat sharing formula. So 40 seats for the NDPP, 20 for the BJP. This seemed to be in some kind of jeopardy actually in the run-up to the elections because like you said, the BJP has been gaining in strength. In the last elections, they actually increased their footprint from 1 MLA to 12 MLAs in the last election. And over the last 5 years, a lot of aspiring candidates joined the party in the hope of getting a ticket. So it seemed like a little troubled waters were going to come by. But the central BJP leadership didn't pay heed to this and have been very firm about sticking to the 40-20 formula. BJP sources say that, this is because the BJP is keen to continue having Rio on its side as it enters into the election.
Right, and we have seen senior party leaders like Amit Shah, JP Nadda visiting the state during the campaign. Could you talk about the major issues that they have focused on?
Utsa, in every Nagaland election in recent history, the primary issue has always been coming to a resolution to the Naga political problem, right, which would bring an end to decades of insurgency and conflict in the region. And when Amit Shah came, he spoke a lot about how the alliance and particularly the BJP in the center is working towards an alliance. And every senior BJP leader who has visited the state has emphasized the point. And they have been saying that in the last 9 years, insurgency-related activities have come down considerably. They're claiming that this has come down by 75%. So they're saying that, their focus is on a peaceful and prosperous Nagaland. And each of these leaders has also said that in the next few years they want to work towards a state where AFSPA will no longer need to be applied to the state, and that they're working towards a complete withdrawal of AFSPA from the state.
आने वाले 3-4 साल में ही पूरे नागालैंड को हम AFSPA से मुक्त कर देंगे। सुरक्षा बलों की मृत्यु में 60% कमी आई और सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात है कि नागरिकों के मृत्यु में, नॉर्थ ईस्ट के लोगों के मृत्यु में 83% की कमी आई है, जिससे नॉर्थ ईस्ट सुरक्षित हुआ है।
So the Naga political issue, of course, is there, and something that became really important in the run-up to this election was the question of the Eastern Nagaland district. So there are 6 districts in Eastern Nagaland who are markedly behind in terms of development indicators compared to the rest of the state. So in the run-up to the elections in last year, the Eastern Nagaland People's Organization, which is a really influential body there, called for a boycott of the elections because they were demanding a separate state for these 6 districts called Frontier Nagaland. And this boycott call actually stood for a long time until earlier this month. The ENPO has now been sharing the stage with the BJP, saying that we're hoping that, something positive works out after the end of the elections. So that has figured heavily in the BJP's agenda and also that of all the other parties.
Okay, Sukrita, while reporting from Nagaland, have you come across anything that is different this time and that was not seen in the previous elections?
So, of course, the question that's on everybody's minds as we move into this elections is whether Nagaland will see its first woman MLA, right? So, in its entire history, Nagaland has not had a single woman MLA. And there are 4 women in the fray this time, which is very small, compared to the huge number of candidates, more than 200 candidates who are in the fray. But these are being seen as strong contenders. In fact, just the other day, both Nephew Rio and Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma, they both together campaigned for the 2 NDPP women candidates. So they are seeing support from their parties. There is an emphasis on the side of the parties that people should vote for these women candidates. So there is a buzz of anticipation that the women candidates do have a fighting chance this time.
And in the end, we give you an update on the sexual harassment allegations raised by top wrestlers of the country. Yesterday, the World Championship medal-winning wrestler Vinesh Phogat accused an unnamed member of the Wrestling Oversight Committee of leaking contents of the complaints made by the nation's top wrestlers against the Wrestling Federation of India's chief Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh and the WFI. Without naming the member, she urged the government to remove this person. She posted on Twitter, and I quote, "Being a sports person, it is extremely disheartening to see a fellow sports person of the Oversight Committee has behaved so recklessly. Their attitude towards women is evident from such behavior," unquote. She also added that the member has been acting against the interest of women from day one and said she was sure that Sharan Singh was finding support from the member. The 6-member Oversight Committee is chaired by Olympic bronze medal-winning boxer Mary Kom. London Olympics bronze medal-winning wrestler Yogeshwar Dutt and wrestler Babita Phogat are also in the Oversight Committee. Former badminton player Trupti Murgunde is the last former athlete to be part of the committee. The other 2 members are Radhika Shriman, former Executive Director Teams of the Sports Authority of India, and Rajesh Rajgopalan, the former CEO at the Target Olympic Podium Scheme. India's top wrestlers like Bajrang Punia, Vinesh, Sakshi Malik and Sarita Moore had gone on a dharna in January to protest against WFI and Sharan Singh, who they accused of sexually harassing women wrestlers. In response, the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports has set up a 5-member oversight committee to look into the allegations. Upon the wrestlers' insistence, Babita was added as the 6th member of the committee. The committee was recently given a 2-week extension to come up with the report. You were listening to 3 Things by the Indian Express. Today's show was hosted by me, Rahel Philipose and Utsa Sarmin, and written and produced by Utsa Sarmin with the help of me, Rahel Philipose and Shashank Bhargava. It was edited and mixed by Suresh Pawar. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone who you think would like it, share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can also tweet us at Express Podcast and write to us at podcast@indianexpress.com.